One of the boldest, most polarizing statements you'll hear in manifestation circles is this: no one in your reality has free will. They can only think what you think and do what they say they can do. Sorry, do what you say they can do. For many people, that's the ultimate mic drop moment. It sounds like pure power, the idea that you're the director, writer, and producer of everyone else's script. At first glance, it feels intoxicating. No rejection, no abandonment, no uncertainty, just total control. But when you start living by that belief, you discover it's more of a trap than a tool. Instead of expanding your reality, it often narrows it. You end up in a constant cycle of mental micromanagement, rehearsing conversations in your head, monitoring every reaction, double checking whether your programming is still holding. Life becomes less about flow and more about keeping all the strings pulled tight. The reason this belief is so tempting is that it appeals directly to our deepest fears. The fear that someone might not choose us if left to their own devices. The fear they might leave. The fear we're not good enough unless we control the outcome. These fears whisper, if you control them, you can't be hurt. But control born from fear is fragile. It rests on the assumption that without your constant intervention, reality will turn against you. If you grew up experiencing abandonment or conditional love, the idea of removing another person's free will can feel like emotional insurance. It promises you'll never have to face that pain again. But here's the paradox. The more you try to guarantee love through control, the less real that love becomes. Because the magic of love lies in the fact that it's freely given. Mutual choice is what makes it valuable. When you take that choice away, even just in your imagination, you also take away the authenticity. The truth is, manifestation isn't about trapping people in mental scenarios. It's about stepping into the version of yourself who naturally exists in the reality that you want to live in. In that reality, people align with you without force. They want to be there. They choose you joyfully. That's not something you have to maintain through constant mental effort. It's the natural outcome of living in a state that's aligned with your desires.
And part of why people get stuck here is because of how Neville Goddard's teaching is often misunderstood. He once said, the illusion of free will to do is but ignorance of the law of assumption. Many people read that and take it as proof that no one else has any free will at all, but that's not what Neville meant. Neville wasn't saying people are lifeless automations. He was explaining that most choices are made unconsciously, based on deeply ingrained assumptions. In other words, we think we're making free decisions, but most of the time we're just reacting to old programming. In his teachings, true free will is the conscious choice of your state of being. That's where manifestation actually happens, at the level of your inner state, your self-concept, and the assumptions you carry about who you are. Reality functions like a mirror. If you believe you're unworthy, that belief gets reflected back to you in the form of people and situations that affirm it. If you believe you're magnetic, lovable, and valuable, that truth also comes back to you in tangible form. Changing your state changes the reflection. Not because you're issuing mental commands to other people, but because you've moved into a version of reality where their natural, authentic choices already match what you want. It is the difference between trying to push a river upstream and simply moving to where the current already flows in your direction. The no free will belief can easily become an excuse to avoid the deeper work of changing yourself. Instead of facing fears, healing old wounds, or developing genuine self-worth, people cling to techniques aimed at controlling others. They visualize specific people, script conversations, or repeat affirmations, but their underlying state never changes. And when your state doesn't change, the results you get are either temporary or non-existent. Neville summed it up perfectly. There is nothing to change but our concept of self. Once that changes, the whole field of reality rearranges automatically to match. You no longer need to control the reflection when you have already transformed the source.
And here's where control-based manifestation really starts to show its cracks. Even when it seems to work, it rarely feels satisfying. You might see someone you've been visualizing show up, say the right words, and act in the way you scripted. But if your inner state is still insecure, you won't trust it. You'll wonder if their feelings are real or just the result of your mental influence. That uncertainty quickly turns into hypervigilance. And so the cycle begins. Affirm, visualize, check for signs, adjust the script, repeat. It's exhausting, and it's the opposite of the effortless flow most people are looking for when they get into manifestation. You build a reality that needs constant maintenance because it's being propped up by control, not supported by genuine alignment. The alternative is to focus entirely on the one thing that you can always control, your own state. Think of reality like a vast radio dial. Each station represents a different version of reality. One plays scarcity, another plays abundance. One plays rejection, another plays love. You can't force the wrong station to start playing the song you want. You just tune into the station that's already broadcasting it. When you shift your state into alignment with what you want, you automatically enter the version of reality where the people and opportunities you desire already exist and naturally choose you. You don't need to bend their will, and in that version of reality, their will already aligns with yours. That's the kind of manifestation that doesn't require constant upkeep because it's stable by nature.
That's the heart of real manifestation mastery, living from alignment rather than control. When you master your state, you stop asking, how can I make them do this? And start asking, who do I need to be so this happens naturally? And that shift is so profound, it changes everything. From this place, the right people, opportunities, and experiences come to you without force. There's no paranoia about losing them because you know you're in the version of reality where they wouldn't choose anything else. Relationships feel authentic because they are authentic. You're not second guessing whether someone's affection is genuine. You can feel it. And that's it. And it's sustainable. You're not spending your energy on the mental tug-of-war game with reality. You're not building a fragile house of cards that needs constant reinforcement. You're living in a reality that matches who you are being. And because you've chosen that state consciously, it's a reality you can actually enjoy. And the truth is, you don't need to strip others of their choice to live your dream. You simply need to become the version of yourself who already exists in a reality where those choices naturally go your way. That's not just more powerful than control, it's more peaceful, it's more joyful, and far more magnetic.
If this talk helped, shift your perspective. Give it a like so it reaches more people who need to hear it. Subscribe for more conversation like this. And if you know someone who's been wrestling with the idea of free will and manifestation, share it with them. It might be the breakthrough that they've been waiting for. And if you want to be the first to catch our next episode, tap the notification bell so that you never miss it. Until next time, think differently, dream boldly, and create consciously.
I'm a quiet rebel, I don't need a shower.